Hello, I'm Yeon. This project is very special to me because it's about deciding on my future job. Then, let's travel through this job called simultaneous interpreter. Before I start explaining, I'd like to warn you that you will hear the words interpretation and interpreter many times throughout this presentation. But please understand that there are no other words to describe these terms. First, there are two kinds of interpretation: simultaneous interpretation and serial interpretation. In simultaneous interpretation, the interpreter listens to the speakers to speak the same message in another language right away. In serial interpretation, the interpreter interprets a message into a foreign language through earphones to the interpreters of the other nation. Every interpreter listens to the interpreter's interpretation through the earphones. Serial interpreting is leader of the other simultaneous interpreter. So serial interpreter wants to never butcher. These days, the whisper interpretation is popular in Korea, but is universally in foreign. This is an interpreting method that is more common in Korea than abroad. It is the simplest interpreting method and the fastest way of telling a message at the same time. From now on, I'll explain about what interpreters do. Interpreters work for the representatives of a country or a company, but meetings are not always fun. There are disputes between the representatives. They have opposite opinions, and so they raise their voice for a beneficial result. Generally, people unhappy when they dispute, but interpreters tend to enjoy this because they feel that they're participating in a process of getting the best result by discussing together on the side of their speakers. When such disputes takes place, even the interpreters become passionate and argue fiercely. However, all the speakers conclude their discussion in harmony at the end. Isn't this a fun job? So, what is needed to become an interpreter? There is an interpretation exam the one who has taken in order to be an interpreter, and one may have to major in foreign language and get admitted interpreting grade school. One may have also have a board to study foreign language and get a job related to interpretation. Since I'm Korean, I would have to first speak perfect Korean, and I would have to speak fast as well. Education. Many advanced nations run interpretation exam, and interpreters who have an experience of 200 hours or more are employed for international meetings. Being fluent in a second foreign language is a shortcut to becoming an interpreter. Among many languages that exist, I chose German. This is a list of universities that have a major related German. There are many of them. Do you know about German? You don't know, right? Listen to this video.
Bert?
Hey Ernie,
Oh, Lena!
was machst du denn hier?
Ich suche meinen Kumpel Bert. Ich bin hier mit ihm zum Äpfelpflücken verabredet.
Na, vielleicht ist ihm was dazwischen gekommen.
Oh, meinst du? Aber was könnte das sein?
Tja.
Talk it on. German is very beautiful, isn't it? That's why I chose this language. If you think that interpreter is the only that you can do from studying a second language, you're wrong. You can become a broadcast journalist or an anchor, and you can also work at an airline company. because people around the world travel through it. Of course, you can work at hotels too. Lastly, many people become teachers after they major in language. There are so many jobs that you can do, don't you think? I could work in various fields even if it's not about interpretation. Let's look at the desired personality, interest, and sense of value for becoming an interpreter. First, as you can see, an interpreter needs to have these qualities. Other than anger management, all these qualities match my aptitude. Next, interest. The test showed I'm practice orient, socially orient, and achieve orient. However, my level of social orient is low, little low, while levels of practice orientation and achieve orientation are much higher. And you may not believe this, but I'm good at persuading people. I also think that I have good relationship with others. My test results are in this picture. You can see extroversion, which means that my relationship with people is very good. And the hexagon shows my character list. Lastly, the most important qualities that an interpreter should have in intellectual openness. This means that one has to be open-minded. According to WorkNet, the estimate wage of an interpreter for international meeting is $50,000 and $40,000 for an interpreter working at a foreign company. And he said to them, go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. One has to be multilingual in order to speak the gospel around the world. I hope that I will be able to learn other language and evangelize people. Thank you.